Trump did a ton of podcasts. Like, let's put Rogan aside, right? As I said, you don't win or lose. It would have been a big moment. You don't win or lose the campaign on one podcast. That was the core of Trump's media strategy, was to do a bunch of these podcasts. They were not political podcasts per se. They were probably political adjacent, right adjacent. It's my understanding that you guys wanted to do a bunch of the larger, more popular, not specifically political podcasts. Can you talk a little about why that may not have happened? Like, I'll give you, for example, it's Hot Ones, right?
Oh, yeah, Hot Ones.
Hot Ones is an example where,
I,
like, there never in time has there been a candidate better suited for a podcast than Kamala Harris on Hot Ones. So,
I think if I remember correctly on Hot Ones that they didn't want to delve into politics.
Well, and that's across the board.
Yeah, I think
right?
it's important.
But some of them did.
Yeah.
We had, I think, real opportunity for some core podcasts that hit key constituencies. On the Smoke, Club Shay Shay, she's
Black
everywhere
people.
we could. We did
Black
it.
people.
But I do think we had a lot of support in a number of, athletes and others that were just not super interested in getting their brand caught up in the politics of this campaign.
Yeah.
And I don't think he had the same problem. Now, he wasn't talking to the kind of folks, that we were trying to get, and these are big names that their reputations would be tied into it. But he, I think, certainly was able to tap into some cultural elements in ways that we couldn't. And I think that had an impact on us, that there were places that we knew we had support, that we desperately wanted to go and have conversation that we thought would be interesting and relevant and fun, and we couldn't get there. But we did get to a number of places that I think were really impactful for us, hitting men, African-American men, Latino men. We had a number of opportunities there that I think when we could do it, we absolutely did it, and it was a top priority for us.
And the truth.
Listen, they're lying, they're wrong, and I'm going to give you the context because as a person that had a lot of visibility during the political season, I'll add some context to this. So it was a few different problems, okay? One of the problems was that they were trying to limit the amount of questions and control what people were able to ask and how long they were able to have the conversation. So, for example, she did, a whole thing with Charlemagne for iHeartRadio. She jumped on Roland Martin, which all of that stuff was controlled because she paid Roland Martin $350,000. Al Sharpton, she did one with him on MSNBC. He got $500,000 out of it. And then they did a couple of stupid ones like All the Smoke, which it was just a fluff piece. And that's why a lot of people downvoted that actual episode. Club Shay Shay. And so they were trying to target people while at the same time controlling the narrative. Now, people that I do know that I did speak to that they reached out to, that they don't know that I know that they reached out to, they declined for multiple different reasons. One of the reasons that they declined is because, first of all, it was too late in the whole thing, and that, again, they wanted them to ask puff pieces. The second thing is that these people did not want to tie themselves to Kamala Harris because they was able to read the room more effectively. So smartly enough, they did not want to tie their brand into Kamala Harris because they realized, A, that they were voting for Trump and they didn't want the smoke, like All the Smoke. And then B, they actually couldn't ask the questions that was meaningful to people and their viewers that they really wanted to know. So if you're going to control me, or if you're going to control the narrative of what I'm able to ask you, and this is why they're saying they hit the ones that they could hit, because again, even when she did an interview with Fox News, which was really, really late into the campaign season, even when she started to go on to opposing platforms, she controlled what they were able to ask her. And so when Trump was out there sitting down for a 2-3 hour interview with Joe Rogan, and Trump was out here, and it wasn't just a podcast, it was all platforms. When him and JD Vance was able to go out there and, basically say, hey, you can ask whatever you wanted to ask. The difference is stark. All you got to do is go and look at the National Association of Black Journalists. And people actually rocked with Trump as far as how he combated combative women that was coming at him during that whole situation. Whereas when she jumped on the National Association of Black Journalists way after Trump had already did it, and she tried to mimic Trump's strategy, they asked her fluff questions. She never really answered the questions, and they weren't able to press her. So while J.D. Vance and Trump was out here taking and fielding all questions, she was really dodging the smoke 100%. And that's why when she wound up going on All the Smoke or she went on Club Shay Shay, that actually was bad for those platforms. It was horrible for those platforms, and people killed them for that.
The truth is, when Trump would go on these podcasts, the conversation wasn't political, and
Right,
we saw that. And, we did lots of outreach to many of the same podcasts that he went on. Ultimately, as we said, with everything in this campaign, we had to pick and choose because of the limitations on time.
Cap.
But I do also want to say that Tim Walz was a huge podcaster and was on podcasts all the time. And
He went on with AOC and stuff.
in the politics adjacent space that you were talking about, sports, hunting, fishing, running, football generally. He went on.
These people are so disconnected. They are so disconnected from the culture. And the funny part about it is, if you're going to win over voters, you have to win over people that don't support you. You have to be appealing to people that are on the fence, on the right and on the fence. If they're already rocking with you, then all you got to do, which is a long-term strategy for the Democratic Party, is to get them to show up to the polls. If they aren't, I need to be a campaign manager. Let me just
Smartless, a whole host of them. So we definitely
People do not
see the
know what they're
value
talking
in
about.
this strategy. I guess the thing that was different about our campaign versus Trump's are a couple of things. One, all of his podcasts were reaching the audience that we were struggling to pull in.
Young men.
Yep. And we saw that. We knew that.
So y'all
And
know
number
you was gonna
two,
lose.
in addition to doing podcasts, we were also doing earned media. And he was doing a little bit of that, but it was mostly right-wing
The streets.
media.
The streets.
Anything mainstream, he would book it and then they would cancel it. So, how people viewed our campaign doing the earned media, in addition to the podcast kind of got lost in that conversation.
I'm sort of fascinated by the fact that, 4 years ago, the idea that it would be more politically problematic to have on Kamala Harris, the sitting vice president of the United States, than Donald Trump, a man who's been convicted of a crime and tried to violently overthrow the election. Do you have any theories as to why that is? Is it specific about the people he was talking to? Is it establishment versus anti-establishment? Politics versus
We
not
know the
politics?
truth. You can't finesse us.
When people
Why people would
We
be...
know that there was election
Some folks would be feel more comfortable for their brand to have a convicted criminal on than the sitting vice
It
president.
was never a choice, like, we'll have him, but we're not going to have you. Anybody that took him would take us. It was more some of the, like Hot Ones, which is a great...
Listen. I'll give you an example. Dr. Phil wanted the same type of conversations with her as he had with Donald Trump. Dave Ramsey, because this is all cap that you're seeing right here. Dave Ramsey openly said that he had the same level of invitation, and the only thing he wanted to talk about was finance, as they did with Donald Trump. They declined both of them. Both of them. If you want to win in any political landscape going forward, and this is for all of you Democrats, you're going to have to walk in enemy territory and walk confidently and don't put no limitations on them and be able to slay dragons. If you want to win in any political race going forward, you're going to have to be willing to go in enemy territory. And if you're not, stop it. Just end it right there.
Show. They didn't want to do any politics, so they weren't going to take us or him. So that was the issue. But we got on plenty of them. The bottom line is she was willing to do just about anything and have a conversation with anybody, regardless of where they sat.
So
she
it's
did
either her or
more
people that
traditional
messed it up.
media than Trump did, as you point out, did basically none. Like
Trump did
literally none.
Ain't got no shit for that.
Get shit from the interested party,
Yes.
The media that wasn't getting their interview. But voters don't give a shit.
Wait, Trump got shit for that? That's what I'm saying. We got shit. I'm saying
Oh,
Trump
we
got no shit.
yes, we got tons of shit that she wasn't doing enough media.
He got no shit.
Not
Double
like
standard,
don't
double
even
standard.
get me going on that.
These people are so stupid. They cannot read the room. They genuinely don't understand the changing media landscape. And when Trump was listening to the people that was around him saying that, hey, you need to do it a little differently, you need to move a little differently, they over there acting like that they don't know no better. And this is one of the reasons why they badly lost the election, on top of the fact that she just wasn't a good candidate. Y'all let me know what y'all think. We're going to continue this conversation because I want to get my friends' insight on after hours tonight. Y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. And then last but not least, let me know what y'all think. Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing. Make sure you get your tickets to come and kick it with me December 14th in Detroit. And then let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.